Welcome in, friends, to another edition of Sports from the Couch here on Mercado Airwaves. I'm your host, Mike Mercado. I want to thank you so much for making us a part of your day. Before we get to this latest segment from the latest edition of the Sports Cubicle on WCPT 820 AM, we want to remind you can follow us all over in the universe. I'm on Twitter at Mike A Media, Instagram, Mike Mercado Media. You could be interactive with the show on Twitter at Couch Sports Talk and at Sports Cubicle TV. Like, rate, review, and share us on all major podcast platforms, wherever you get your favorite podcasts at Mercado Airwaves. Check out the video version of the podcast over at youtube.com/Mercado Airwaves Network. We have swag over at teespring.com/Mercado Airwaves. And if you would like to get our weekly NFL picks, check us out at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. Now enjoy this segment from the latest edition of the Sports Cubicle on WCPT 820 AM with Dan Marver, Devin Tingle, Paul Chivari, and myself, Mike Mercado. Let's move on to some more fun stuff. You talk about optimism. Let's spend a few minutes on your Chicago Bulls. Marver, this is a team going for its 10th win. As of this recording, they will be playing in Dallas on this edition of the Sports Cubicle when this goes up. Your initial thoughts? We have a few minutes before we hit the hard break. The Chicago Bulls, DeMar DeRozan, this is a team that's coming together in a league that has a lot of bad depth, a lot of players that don't belong in the NBA playing. Just in general, your thoughts on the momentum the Bulls have, the vibe around the Bulls, and what you've seen early on in 2022 of your Chicago Bulls.
It's a pleasant surprise. You have DeRozan, of course, and Levine both averaging over 26 points a game. And not to mention Vukovic at 15 points a game, Ball at 13, and White at over 11. So, I mean, they have five guys averaging double figures, really good balance. So, and they've gotten contributions from other players as well. So it's been a pleasant surprise, and for they beat Washington the other day, and they seem to have really things going. I mean, DeRozan only scored 15 in that game, and yet they were able to. The White, it seems to be really coming of age too. He scored 21 the other night, and Levine 27. So they're getting contributions. A lot of people. Ball 18 and Vukovic 16. So it's not like they're a real team. It isn't like necessarily the Jordan and Pippen era. They seem to have a lot of balance, and on a given night, a different player can be their leading scorer. So that is really optimistic, and they've held their own against the best teams in the league thus far, and it's remarkable because it was totally unexpected. Wouldn't you say?
I believe so. It's been fun to see, and as we get ready to hit the next segment, we want to make sure that everybody is following us on Twitter at Sports Cubicle TV. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm going to put your feet to the fire, give you the last minute on this one. I think they should keep Coby and Ayo as long as they can to stall as much as they can. How about you? Do both of these guys end up staying the rest of the season? Is it Patrick Williams that gets traded? What do you think the Bulls are going to do? Because they're going to be active this trade season.
I think that they should definitely keep Dosunmu. It's kind of like the old the local star thing that they we can harken back to previous eras where they have a local fellow that does well. So I mean I think that would be a good thing to expand on. I mean, they have a lot of other guys that they could move or do something with, Brown, Bradley, even Zeminovic, Dotson. They have a lot of players that to get that big guy that we're looking for, another big guy, a rebounder, aggressive rebounder. I think that would be helpful to have another big body out there, a banger. Doesn't have to score a lot because they got plenty of scoring going on. I mean, clone a Dennis Rodman type, that's not without the nose rings, hopefully.
Well, unless it brings them ring number 7, I think it's going to be a lot of fun for the Chicago Bulls, and regardless of who gets traded, to see Coby White bounce back the way he has, and to see Ayo develop the way he has, and the potential of Patrick Williams, the Bulls are in good hands. It's a jam-packed edition of the Sports Cubicle. It's Dan Marver, Paul Chivari, Devin Tingle. I'm Mike Mercado. Stay with us.